Hi there, and welcome to Ku English. In this series, we explore the lives of amazing people and help you improve your English at the same time. Ready? Let's dive in. Hermann Hesse, Legacy, Influence, and the Price of a Life. Part 4. Chapter 1. The Quiet Years and the Weight of Survival. As Hermann Hesse entered his later years, the world around him changed once again, violently and irreversibly. The rise of National Socialism in Germany, followed by the outbreak of the Second World War, confirmed many of his darkest suspicions about mass movements, blind obedience, and the fragility of moral judgment. Living in Switzerland, Hesse remained physically safe, but spiritually burdened. He watched his homeland descend into fanaticism, and he recognized familiar patterns: the surrender of individual conscience, the hunger for certainty, the fear of ambiguity. Once again, he refused to align himself with collective enthusiasm. And once again, this refusal came at a cost. His books were banned in Nazi Germany. His name disappeared from official literary life. Former readers turned away, either out of fear or ideological loyalty. Hesse did not protest loudly. He had learned that shouting rarely changes the crowd. Instead, he worked quietly, helping refugees, corresponding with persecuted writers, and continuing to write slowly, carefully, without illusion. Age brought physical weaknesses, but it also brought a certain clarity. Hesse no longer expected understanding from society at large. He had long accepted that genuine inner work is rarely rewarded by approval. Solitude, once painful, now felt necessary, and even protective. Yet survival carried its own weight. He outlived many contemporaries, witnessed repeated historical collapse, and bore the knowledge that humanity seemed determined to repeat its failures. Optimism did not return. What remained was attentiveness, a commitment to observe, to record, and to remain inwardly awake. In these quiet years, Hesse's life narrowed in external scope, but deepened internally. He painted, wrote letters, and revised earlier work. He reflected not on achievements, but on contradictions. His sense of self was no longer divided between who he was and who he hoped to become. There was less striving now, and more acceptance of incompleteness. Chapter 2. Late Recognition and the Problem of Being Understood. In 1946, Hermann Hesse received the Nobel Prize in Literature. The announcement arrived not as a triumph, but almost as an interruption. He was nearly 70, frail, and long removed from literary fashion. The prize acknowledged his lifelong exploration of the individual spirit, yet it also froze his image in public imagination. With recognition came simplification. Readers and critics searched his novels for clear messages, fixed philosophies, and comforting conclusions. Many found what they wanted to find. Some embraced his work as spiritual guidance. Others dismissed it as inward-looking and detached from political responsibility. Hesse accepted neither view entirely. He never claimed to offer answers. His writing did not point toward systems or solutions, but toward experience, often painful, often unresolved. The danger of fame, he knew, was not rejection, but misunderstanding. Ironically, some of his most influential readers emerged after the war, particularly among younger generations searching for alternatives to authority and conformity. Decades later, his work would be rediscovered again, this time by readers confronting different forms of crisis. Each generation seemed to read Hesse differently, extracting new meanings from the same texts. This delayed understanding did not fully satisfy him. He remained wary of being turned into a symbol. What mattered most to him was not influence, but integrity, whether he had remained faithful to his inner necessity, even when it isolated him. In private letters, Hesse expressed ambivalence about his legacy. He doubted whether literature could truly change society, yet he believed deeply in its ability to accompany individuals during moments of transition, confusion, and inner crisis. If his books had done that for some, it was enough. Chapter 3. What Remains After a Life of Inner Work. Hermann Hesse died in 1962, quietly, without ceremony. His death did not mark an ending so much as a pause. His books continued to travel, to be read and reread, often far from the cultural context in which they were written. What, then, did he leave behind? Not doctrines, not movements, not certainty. What remains is a body of work that insists on the seriousness of inner life. Hesse treated inner conflict not as weakness, but as evidence of being alive. He refused to reduce human complexity to moral slogans or social roles. His characters stumble, retreat, and contradict themselves. They rarely arrive, yet they continue. Many of his ideas were misunderstood during his lifetime. His rejection of mass ideology was taken as detachment. His focus on individual experience was mistaken for escapism. Only later did some readers recognize how deeply political his insistence on conscience truly was. Was his life worth the cost, the solitude, the broken relationships, the recurring depression? Hesse never answered this directly, perhaps because such questions resist final judgment. A life devoted to inner truth does not guarantee happiness. It demands sacrifice without promising resolution. What it offers instead is honesty, often uncomfortable, often lonely, but rarely false. In the end, Hesse stands not as a guide, but as a companion. His work walks beside readers rather than ahead of them. It does not instruct, it listens. And for those willing to listen in return, it continues to speak quietly, persistently, without urgency. The story ends, but the conversation does not. Thanks for learning with Ku English. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.